All right, so who's memorized my bio? How long did I serve in the Navy? Who here served in the military? Thank you for your service. Awesome. And that's the end of my presentation. I'm not going to be as entertaining as the last guy at lunch, but I've been known to crack a joke or two. But I'm Joe Wilson with EagleView. I manage the Carolinas, and really do appreciate you all attending my session. With me, I have Kevin McLeod, who's our regional technical manager, and I've got Travis, special guest for me, Travis Clemens, who's one of our product managers and who actually lives in Durham, but he works for our Rochester office, so that's pretty cool. Between us three, we should be able to answer some of your questions. And my title that I submitted back 3 or 4 weeks ago when you had to have your PowerPoint submitted was this, but it's changed. But my first slide I wanted to show you was what we're doing now. And that is taken from planes about 2,500 feet using our new camera system that's capturing less than 1-inch pixels, which basically means what? I needed to change the slide title of my presentation to a little bit more than what I had originally talked about. But I'm going to stay on time, and I'm going to get through as much of this as I can. But really, I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that's new. And part of the reason that we're doing the what's new is because of you all. We've been driven to continue to increase the resolution of our imagery to help you, to provide you with tools, imagery tools, to make better decisions, to get better data extracted from the imagery, and to increase your usage. Imagery's not cheap, and if you get it every couple of years, every year, Mecklenburg's looking to go every 6 months. It's a pretty big decision and pretty big management issue, and so I'm going to try to help you through some of this. Got a little agenda. I'm already off of it, so we'll just go to the next slide. I did want to tell you what's old is me before we get into the what's new. Probably most notable is I'm from Rockingham County, baby, so yeah. But 26 year in GIS, play a little guitar on the side. Can't quit my day job yet, but getting pretty good. And unfortunately, my Niners did not win an award, but go Niners. Keep pounding. What's new? Well, there's my photo again. I had to show you that again. Better imagery, higher resolution, more frequency, being able to accommodate your need for more imagery to do what you do. GISers provide, we're evangelists. We reach out, we provide tools, we try to go to each department, we try to build tools for these departments to use, we try to get data sets that they would use, we try to maintain them, we try to reuse our data so we can make better decisions on the data that we've already collected. There's a lot that we do. Sorry. There's a lot that you do. I served my term in GIS. I was an GIS manager for 8 years for an engineering firm. And let me tell you, it's a hard job. I had about 27 engineers and geologists that just refused to use GIS. They wanted paper, they wanted Excel, they wanted DWGs, but we got them. They started using it, and man, it was great. It's a good feeling once you start getting accepted by your coworkers, rather than them hiding from you, wondering what the heck are they, why are they walking down the hall again? another update, another button, another year of imagery that we got to now look at. But I'll tell you, keep up, and it's moving fast, and certainly getting to the point where we now have subscriptions. We've always been very good at working as almost a consultant with our customers, doing project-based, scoping out the flight, flying when you want to fly, flying the resolution you want to fly, and getting you on an interval that makes sense for your organization. We still do that, and we're going to continue doing that. But we also have options for organizations that want to do more. So doing more means what? Means having more imagery, more pixels, more resolution, more clarity, being able to turn this house around and look at, sorry, I'm tripping here. Turn and rotate and look at roof condition, look at the side of the house, the condition of the siding, condition of the sidewalk, the patio. Look at all this impervious surface. Who's doing stormwater billing, stormwater fees? You gotta know what's impervious, or you just charge everybody the same thing. Well, that's not fair. Kevin's got 90% of his yards paved. I don't. Why should I pay as much as him? You see where I'm going, especially for commercial properties. Why do my driveway's gravel? So this is why we're doing what we're doing. Look at the crack in the wall. Look at the pavement management. Look at your public works folks. Look at the inventory that you can do from your imagery. These are 1-inch pixels. So if I click on the correct pixel for that hydrant, guess what? I've got accuracy to 1 inch. I don't have to go around with a device and do field data collection. Well, guess what? It's not very safe outdoors anymore. Good Lord. Stay indoors. Use this. Sorry, I get sidetracked. I've got a 12-year-old trying to teach the ropes. Look at this. Amazing clarity, NPDES, stormwater, outfalls, being able to look at hiding places, public safety. I got to issue a warrant at this house. Good Lord, I can look at this stuff before I go there. Get this out to the right people's hands. If I say good Lord more than I do in my presentation, I'm going to stop us for a prayer. But I'm just serious. This is amazing stuff to be able to put into the right people's hands. These are just a few examples. I only have 13 minutes left. So you get the point. So higher resolution, what does it drive? Change detection. What was it like last year? What's it like this year? Tell me what the difference is. Use the imagery. Work with your tax office. They have a whole heck of a lot of need for what's out there and doing an inventory, taking their property sketches and making sure things are accurate. Guess what the tax office does? Makes money for the county. They can get their data corrected, get more value, and be fair and equitable to the citizens. They might be able to generate a little bit more revenue for the county. So I'm going to show some examples here. If anybody wants this information, or if you want us to come to your county or city or agency and present to you, present to your board, present to your team, let us know. That's what we do. I get paid to do that. So take me up on it. You can see change. Look at this. Look at this. Sometimes you can look at stuff and say, wow, I can see that this has changed. You don't have to tell me. A lot of times you don't. Here's an example from Guilford County. I'm gonna just say, look at the bottom. They found a lot of revenue for their county. They found $50 million of missing property value just by looking at one image and looking at the other image. Look at this. That used to be what it looked like. That's what it looks like now. So it's an in-law quarters that was converted from a detached garage. We value that differently in the tax office. a whole lot differently. It's livable space. Imagine if you can look at an oblique image and see an air conditioning unit hanging off the side of a barn. What do you think's happening in that barn? So that's powerful there. Look at what else they did. So sketch verification, taking their property sketches. We all know that the CAMA systems in your counties have sketch programs that they sketch out what the property looks like. Guess what? Those sketches have no coordinate system. They're a 0-0 axis. They do not know where they live on the earth. Well, if you can get those on top of the imagery, if you can do sketch verification, and we have programs that do this, you can put the sketch on top of the image and then you can grade that sketch. If the sketch matches, great. A lot of them don't. And when you can figure out which ones don't, you can start doing things like generating more revenue for your county. Look at what else Guilford County did in 2021. They found another $72 million in missing value that turned into $560,000 in revenue. Going forward every year, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So over 3 years, they've made $1.6 million just by correcting their sketches in GIS. Amazing. So now we've had this sketch verification and we've had this change detection. We combined the two, and now we have this technology called Sketch Inspect. It takes the sketch, compares it to the building outline, looks for change, provides workflow to reduce field visits, and you can see all the bullets there. Again, if you like more info on this, just let me know. We have a booth here too, just stop by. This is a screenshot of what it looks like, and it uses Esri, and it uses pictometry, EagleView, excuse me. We go by EagleView now, but who here knows, who goes back to pictometry days? So, okay, I'll slip up every now and then. But you can see it's got workflow, it's got built-in technology to be able to guide the reviewers through, and it's got higher resolution imagery to be able to verify what they're looking at. Same with impervious surface, I mentioned that earlier. If you get higher resolution imagery, you can start using tools like ML, AI, or if you've got the staff in-house, you can digitize on top of the imagery all of your impervious surface. I don't know if I remember if I asked, who has a stormwater fee? So it's not if it's gonna happen, it's probably when it's gonna happen at your agency. It's a huge revenue generator. And it also gets fed back into the county to help improve runoff and stormwater. This is a huge effort, and we've been tasked to provide higher resolution imagery so we can have more certainty on our impervious surface layers. So a quick process on that is you get imagery, you get an AOI, parcel layers. You want to probably know what percent or what the square footage is of impervious on a parcel. So you can categorize each property owner and put them in the right category for billing them the right fee. It's a major, major, major task, but when you get it and it's streamlined, it really is the gift that keeps on giving. So you process it, you calculate, you use ML if you want to use ML. There's machine learning stuff now. We do this that takes the imagery and it extracts what impervious surface features are, and then it will update the parcel layer, provide the supporting data. One of the supporting data sets that's really nice to have is a defensible data layer. When a citizen comes in and says, hey, why am I paying this much? Pop open the GIS layer, pop open the raster, show something like this. Most of the time they'll go away, but sometimes it's more than what they are, it's less than what they should be paying. So if they come in and complain and you say, okay, let us look at this further, it's probably gonna be more. So careful what you ask for. One of the things we just recently did was anyone in here use CityWorks? We now have CityWorks integration. So if you're a EagleView user, if you have EagleView, you can stream the imagery directly into your CityWorks programs at zero cost. Another thing that we've all seen 3D, we heard Mr. Kursky talk about flying through your city and hope you don't run into a building. But now we're extracting point cloud from imagery and being able to surface straight the high resolution imagery on top of the objects, 3D objects, be able to do things like line of sight, looking at view sheds, the things that, like you said, flying through is great, but now do some work, do some analysis, make some decisions, get it into the law enforcement hands. How'd I do on time? Let me go back a couple of slides then. I know which one I'm going to pull up. This one. Has anyone seen anything like this other than with a drone? It's pretty amazing that planes can capture this stuff now, right? Planes, you know what they do? They mow the grass back and forth over a county, take 1 million pictures, they stitch them together, and they provide you with imagery to be able to load pretty quickly on your computer and make decisions. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just amazed by what we're doing today with this stuff. And would this be helpful for anyone to be able to have as a GIS layer to look at and verify data? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. How is where we got to figure it out. Why would you want 1/2-inch pixels? So I want my coworker, Kevin, to come up. Kevin he worked for GIS down in Sages, Savannah for, I don't know how long, 10 plus years. And he managed EagleView imagery. And they were one of the first in the US to do this level of imagery. I think that's his house. I'm just joking. If you could talk for a few minutes on what you did, and I don't know if this is on the internet, if you want to pull up Savannah, have at it, man.
You read my mind. I was actually going to say, hey,
we have only a few more minutes to Q&A.
Yeah.
Thank you. We color coordinated today. These are actually our work shirts now. We get the casual Wednesday, Thursday.
As Joe mentioned, we try to be consultative. I created a heavily customized web app builder, and I published it on GitHub and on GeoNet with like a Word doc on all the files and lines of code I modified, basic stuff like making moving pop-ups and things like that, integrating metadata into the layer list and things like that. But what I did before, we have an official widget that's more integrated now in the same browser window, but I created a widget at the time. I called it a pictometry widget. To wherever you click the XY to open the imagery at that location. We actually flew last week and the imagery's already up. We're flying again right now.
He says he works for EagleView, but
I still live there, so so I still live there and still stay in close touch with them and so I want to, and this is my old office right there. So I want to point out two things. One, yes, this imagery looks great. It's very high resolution. Right? But here's the thing.
Not reading license plates or facial recognition.
So, two things. One, you see assets. Everyone sees something different, but we all see utilities, infrastructure, a fire hydrant. I was an environmental scientist long ago. I'd see on a pole, maybe pole-mounted transformers, and think about, PCBs and Tosca maybe. You don't see that kind of feature from an ortho, even if it's a very high-resolution ortho. Okay, we see it, but what are you going to do with it? Does anyone here who has EagleView and has Connect Explorer Is anyone not familiar with what the workspace feature is where you can digitize? Don't be afraid to raise your hand. So just a quick recap, though, for folks that don't have EagleView and Connect Explorer. You can draw points, lines, and polygons on the imagery in Connect Explorer, digitize that, and download it to a shapefile, right? You can also display map layers over this. You can display vector layers. In fact, this road center line is a REST service pulling from a service that I set up way back when. So you can bring this imagery as well into Pro and ArcMap to digitize on top of this imagery. It's rectified. So this I used to survey things in with both a Trimble and a Total Station. And, if you can see it now, this cuts down your field work. As Joe mentioned, again, the most dangerous thing that we all do for our job is drive. So if you think health and safety, instead of going out and surveying things in, it's very expensive, laborious, anything could happen, just put points on this imagery. And as I've mentioned to several of you already, tracing things on imagery, all of our time here collectively we need to be doing analysis and integrating in GIS into workflows in other departments. You can now farm out digitization to folks in other departments. Someone at the DPW can open up Connect Explorer, which is kind of our equivalent of, Esri's, it's a map viewer that's user-friendly, and someone that's not really a GIS person can put points on a map on every manhole and inlet. So this allows you to farm out the creation of data. That's pretty much it. So, like I said, I was the developer there at the county, and so our strength is integrating this imagery into other products like CityWorks that Joe mentioned, and especially 911 centers, where they can use Connect Explorer and open this imagery. They can search for an address, if they have the platform. But are they going to have that time to search for an address? No. So we integrate it into whether it's CityWorks and you're clicking on an asset, whether it's CAMA software and you're clicking on a parcel on a property record card, or whether it's 911 and the call comes in, it opens the imagery and zooms down to that location. That's our strength. We integrate with a lot of industry software like CityWorks and Tyler and so forth.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, we're right on time. We got time for Q&A. Or should I sing? I'm in a country band, so come on. Everybody feel pretty good about what they saw? All right, cool. No questions? All right, well, thank you all. Thank you very much, and we'll see you around the state. Take care.